Listen, Robert, this just now means you and I have something else in common other than running 40-yard dashes that people talk about. Being sort of stunned by ESPN. I imagine this surprised you, right? It surprised you when this happened to you last week, Robert?
What a great question, Rich. What a great question.
Well, I mean, I was asked that all. I was surprised. I back in it's 22 years ago. I was surprised, but
I would say this, Rich. What happened was, I am grateful to ESPN for all the opportunities they gave me, just like I know you were. But you had a much longer tenure there. So for me, over the last 3 years to get to work, like I said, on Monday Night Countdown, the legendary crew with Susie Colbert, Steve Young, Booger McFarland, and Adam Schefter, and then the revamped crew with Scott Van Pelt, Ryan Clark, and Marcus Spears was a dream come true, man. Like, I didn't even know that was going to be something that I enjoyed doing so much, but I had a ton of fun, and especially connecting with the fans and the people behind the camera. Because you and I both know we're the front-facing people, but it's the people behind the camera that we work with that really make it all work. So that part of it, I'm going to miss those people because I don't feel like they get the love they deserve, and I try to make sure I point that out as often as I possibly can. But for me, to say I was surprised, I'd already been assigned a team, Rich, in college football, was going to be back with my guys, Mark Jones and Quint Kesenick, and our producer, Kim Belton, and director Anthony DeMarco on the college side. And it hurt me for them, not because they need me, because they don't. Like, that's the thing about this business. Nobody needs anyone, but just because we were so close and we were kind of getting the chance to rekindle that fire. So that had already been assigned. And so to answer your question fully, because I love you, man, yes, I was surprised.
Well, listen, it's tough, certainly when it's your first major gig, right? Because, again, that was mine, too. I mean, they took me, ESPN took me from Redding, California, very small market TV, and changed my life. And ESPN was part of my professional DNA. It still is. I met my wife there. So my kids are technically ESPN babies, and I'm still very proud of that today, But I was stunned, and it made me, kind of feel unmoored, like I was cut loose, and trying to find a new identity based on the fact that I always thought ESPN was part of my identity was very difficult. And but the grass is just as green, You went home and hugged your wife and your kids just the same day as you did the day before when you were employed by them, and you know that. So I just wanted to say that to you, as we're having this conversation, and the grass is greener,
Nah,
you will
Rich,
find it.
I appreciate you saying that, and really, as you know, you probably got a massive outpouring of love from the fans when that went down, and I've experienced something similar with the outpouring of love from the fans. It really showed me that we were doing it the right way, having a good time. It's about informing the viewer, but also entertaining the viewer. And that was the re-emphasized statements that I kept getting from everyone, whether it be on social media or on YouTube. And I hope, that showed me that this is something in a business that I should be involved in and continue to be involved in. And, that's why we're going to be doing this sign you see behind me, Out of Pocket with RG3. Doing a podcast in that realm. And our first guest will be dropping here in a few days. So hopefully the fans will continue to support us and have fun as we make our way through this tough time. But we'll be back, and we'll be back and better in no time.
Thrilled to hear that Stephen A. hit you up, too, because I remember I was on my honeymoon, because this happened to me just before I got married. And I was on my honeymoon, and I'm driving. My cell phone goes off, and Susie, my wife, picks up the phone and then hands it to me. And she does not like it when, I'm not hands-free. And here I am driving on the A1 in Italy with some Italian person riding my bumper at like 120 kilometers an hour. And why are you handing me the phone? It was Dick Vitale to tell me he was disappointed to hear what happened and wanted to talk. So he's kind of like the Stephen A. of my generation, Dick Vitale. So I'm glad to hear that. And, I appreciate you coming on here, and I look forward to seeing your next moves. Robert.
No, I appreciate that, Rich. And I got to also say before I bounce, just
Sure.
want to give a huge shout out, not just to the fans, but also all my colleagues at ESPN that reached out.
Awesome.
The support was overwhelming. Stephen A. wasn't the only one. But I want to just give a shout out to them. It's a tough thing, but I'm not the first person to ever get laid off. There's a lot more people who are dealing with bigger problems than I have to deal with right now. So taking all that into consideration, just want to give them a huge shout out. And anyone out there that is struggling with anything, just know I'm praying for you. We're in this together.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.